Folks, good evening to you one and all. It's our favorite spot. It's Wednesday night. It's 10 to 8. It's qualifying time for Western Province Sports and GT Masters Series. It's the beginning of season number 3. Frankie Ennis, the voice of West Province Motorsport. Good evening to you.
Well, we cannot wait for this season to get underway. Hello everybody, Frank Ennis, Mike Side, and welcome to Season 3, Round 1, iRacing Sports and GT Masters. To you from Long Beach in California. It's a street circuit. Many years ago, Formula 1 cars used to race here, and currently the IndyCar championships and the Formula E championships happen on the Long Street circuit in California. The weather for today, 19 degrees Celsius, no rain, clear skies, and only a slight 3k an hour wind coming to you from Long Beach, California.
Well, more than slight problems for the guys when they were out there with the practice session. One or two very tight corners causing a situation where you actually have to dial in changes to your basic setup of your field of vision and to your ratio on your steering. So those that have not had too much time to practice going to sweat it out a little bit with this one in the beginning. Not an easy track whatsoever. The man out there on track, 1 minute 19.858, the initiator of Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, and 3 very successful 6-hour races. The co-owner of 8-Ball 24/7, Dr. Mike Verrier, is sitting in his studio out in Neisner, and well, that's him out there on track.
Well, the times are coming through. The first 12 times have come through, and Luke Lucchese, he's done a 1:17.641. Graham Stevens only 9/10 of a second behind him. So between Luke Lucchese, Graham Stevens is in the house. The two of them, we're waiting for Johan Fourie to post the time. That is Lucchese there in the Marlboro colored, Luke Lucchese in the Ferrari, or that hairpin the guys have been saying in the week is a very tricky hairpin. That's the final corner on this Long Beach circuit. As you exit that hairpin, the pit entrance is on the right hand side. There you see the pits on your left hand side of the screen. That's the main straight, which has a bit of a kink to the right and then runs all the way down into that left-hander. That's effectively turn 1. There's the fountain. You've got to be very careful when you go around that roundabout at the fountain, that traffic circle. Remember, this is a road course, so you're going to be very close to the walls, and you don't want to get it wrong on the opening sector of lap 1.
So let's have a look a little bit down the field. Johan Fourie, the previous series top runner and winner of one of our previous series, 0.5 of a second slower. So Luke Lucchese doing an amazing job to be half a second quicker than anybody else. Graham Stevens, one of our front runners, rounding out the top 3, almost a second slower. And then Swayze Joubert, one of the numerous very quick Joubert family members that are involved in sports and GT iRacing, originating down here in the Western Cape, West Province Motor Club Sports and GT, and he rounds out the second row of the group.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be absolutely amazing. Remember, the first series was won by Johan Fourie, the second series was won by Francois Joubert, and this is race 1 of Series 3 or Season 3 of the iRacing Masters. Lucchese, 1:17.641. Johan Fourie, 5/10 of a second behind him, followed there by Swayze Joubert, who's 8/10 of a second behind the leader so far in qualifying of Luke Lucchese. So Lucchese and Johan Fourie are provisionally on the front row of the grid.
The 5th place, Peter van der Spey, was just on screen now. Then the comeback kid, Robbie Teens, 1.3 and 1.5 seconds off what Luke Lucchese is doing. Being a road circuit, Frankie, not going to be easy to pass. Peter Joubert on the 4th row of the grid, 1.5. And then Johan Engelbrecht, the sponsor of the previous 6-hour that we just had on Sunday, he rounds out row number 4.
Yeah, he's out there in the AMG Mercedes-Benz. Andre Steenkamp finds himself out there in a Porsche, one of the few Porsches that are out there. Lovely looking Porsche of Steenkamp. Yes, it is the Porsche that Andre Steenkamp is in. So 7 minutes done of the 10-minute qualifying session. Sandro Bakari in the 72 Ferrari finding himself there in the pit lane. Dr. Mike Vera in the 8-call 247 Ferrari also in the pits. So as a matter of fact, he's not in a Ferrari. Mike Vera is in a McLaren. And there's Raymond Duggan. That name we heard for the first time last Saturday at the 6 hour at Sebring.
Stephen McCarthy out there as well. He's just finished his 2 laps, 1 minute 20, the quickest that he could put together for that one. Amman Lazarus has completed his laps. Eugene Manouk looks like he's just gone across the line now as well. And undoubtedly the fact that it's open setup has made a massive big difference to the times between the cars. And in fact, I think this is the biggest gaps that we've ever seen. The likes of Leonardo Bakari in his favorite Ferrari colors with the green and red stripe over the top as well. Colin Plitt finding himself at the tail end of the field. 18 people that's out there for this race. Renier Hubert has still to put up a lap time, and as soon as he puts his lap time up, yep, looks like he has, and that brings the whole pack pretty much into play. 8.5 minutes, 1 sighting lap, 2 flying laps, and then your slowdown, which is exactly what they are busy with now. There's Peter van der Spey. He slows down and stops. He's finished his times. Andre Steenkamp coming through in the 20 car. He's 1.9 seconds off. So Carter, extraordinaire from Cape Town out there. Andre Steenkamp, and he's in the Porsche. Well, he's giving it all he's got. Can he bump it up just a little bit further?
Well, I'm having a look at all the different cars out there, and those top 3 cars, remember I said earlier on Ferraris, they are not Ferraris, they are Lamborghinis. The first Ferrari is all the way down there in the hands of Raymond Duggan. So Peter van der Spey, Robbie Teens, and all those guys are in Lamborghinis. As a matter of fact, Johan Fourie is also out there tonight in the Lambo. So there is 25 seconds left for qualifying. Basically, the qualifying session is effectively over. So the front row of the grid will be Luc Lecaires and Johan Fourie, 1:17.641, and Fourie will be in there in P2 on the front row of the grid, 0.5 of a second behind Luc Lecaires. So 5 seconds left to go on the qualifying session. The qualifying session is now officially over. So as you see the 19 drivers out there, that is how they're going to start for this one. Round 1, Season 3, Long Beach, California, iRacing Master Series. Right, we're just waiting for the cars to start gridding. There is the grid, and on the front row of the grid, 2 drivers from Cape Town, Luc Lecaires and Johan Fourie.
Yep. On the second row of the grid, Swayze Hubert, always quick, is Swayze Hubert with Graham Stephen, one of the 3 races of one of the winning teams from the 6 hour on Sunday.
The third row is occupied by Peter van der Spey and Robbie Teens.
Peter Hubert and Johan Engelbrecht, the sponsor of Sunday's race, rounding out the 4th row of the grid.
5th row is Andre Steenkamp and JJ van der Merwe.
And then coming through behind that is Sandra Bakari and Dr. Mike Verrier. Let's see if we can pick up the balance of the field. Yep, there they are. Behind that, Raymond Duggan, a new name, but a name that we know pretty well. In the 13th spot, alongside him, Stephen McCarthy.
Right, then Renier Hubert, Herman Lazarus, Eugene Manouk, Colin Plitt, and in P19, Sandro Bakari. So that is it. 19 drivers will take on the might of Long Beach, California.
Well, this is going to be pretty good stuff. A very, very tight circuit it is that they are on. Not an easy racetrack whatsoever. Special extra caution asked from the organizers on the sighting lap and going through the first couple of turns, expecting that there is a very big possibility of chaos, saying, guys, let's show respect to one another. That's why we are the Masters League. 19 cars out on track, starting season number 3, Sports and GT Masters Conference of the West Motor Cup International Raceway.
Right, here we go. As we are about to get this one underway. 45-minute race, 50% fuel capacity. I'm predicting round about 25 minutes into the race, these guys will probably go in for their pit stops as the lights go green and we away here at Long Beach, California for Race 1 Season 3 iRacing Sports and GT Master Series as they race down into turn number 1. It is Ferrari and Lucchesi. The two Lamborghinis are right in there with each other as they go side by side. Here comes Graham Stephen. Stephen wants to have a look up there on the inside of Ferrari. Ferrari covers the line, and that has now allowed Lucchesi to disappear down the road. Going defensive there was Johan Ferrari to keep Graham Stephen behind him. Here comes Robbie Teens. Ting sits out there in 4th position and followed there by Sandro Bakari and Mike Vera and Lucchesi. Lucchesi has binned it, Gary, caught away into lap 1 in the Marlboro Lamborghini.
Well, to try and catch up from there is going to be very, very difficult for all on a road circuit where it's so difficult to be able to make up positions. So Johan Ferrari leads them out. Graham Stephen once again there where it counts. There's Graham Stephen. There is Robbie Teen. Sandro Bakari under pressure. Mike Verrier having a look on the outside line. Now up, that is the inside line. Mike Verrier going to take that position away, moving up into the top 4. When last did you see Mike Verrier in a top 4 position? He's looking good.
So the McLaren leads the Ferrari between Verrier and Sandro Bakari through that hairpin. Then the first of the Porsche sits out there in P6, and that is Andre Steenkamp. And Ferrari's done a 1:26.687, a PB, and the quickest lap out there so far by Johan Ferrari. Everybody else will be doing personal best. Where is Luke Lucchesi? Oh my word, he finds himself down in 13th position after hashing it up nearly halfway into lap number 1. Herman Lazarus sitting in there as well. Herman sits in P8. He's got Renier Hubert in there behind him. There goes, that is the Porsche of Lazarus. Behind him is Renier Hubert. I'm trying to see what car Renier Hubert is in. However, we all know that that man is in a Lamborghini, and that is Johan Ferrari. And he's got the McLaren in there behind him of Graham Stephen. The Lambo's been chased there by the McLaren. Here comes Robbie Teens. Here comes Mike Verrier. Behind Mike Verrier, Sandro Bakari. And then in P6, the first of the Porsches, that is Andre Steenkamp, followed there by the Suzine car of Stephen McCarthy.
Stephen McCarthy doing a pretty decent job. He finds himself just 11 seconds off. It's then Herman Lazarus, Renier Hubert coming through. Lovely paint job on that motor car. Eugene Manouk is inside of the top 10. A brilliant start of that there for Eugene. It's been numerous accidents. We're going to bring that through to you as soon as we've got through the first couple of laps where it's pretty tight. But, well, who would have expected anything less? Graham Stephen and Johan Ferrari. Robbie Teens, what a brilliant drive so far. Can the comeback kid make season 3 his own?
Well, he's done a personal best of just over 1 minute and 20 seconds there by Robbie Teens. But we watch out for this man. It is the Monster Energy Lamborghini in P1 of race leader Johan Ferrari as he works his way under that bridge. Very, very tight circuit. It's a pity Willem Botha couldn't make this one. He's got other work commitments that he couldn't, unfortunately, that he can't make it. And Gerald Maget, would love to have seen him out there, but unfortunately Gerald can't make it neither. But Johan Ferrari is in there. That's the front right-hand side suspension of the Ferrari Lamborghini working overtime as we have a look at the in-car cam, the dashboard cam of Ferrari as he turns it into that slight right-hander and under the Firestone Bridge.
Well, you can see how tight that circuit really is. Curbstones in general not too high, but a couple of very, very tight corners that is very difficult to actually work your way through. So that's what it looks like from the in-car shot. Look at the amount of space he's made up, and that is that very tight corner that we spoke about, that you see them coming out there. Graham Stephen, Robbie Teens, Mike Verrier's right in there. Sandro Bakari's not been dusted. Andre Steenkamp's got a bit of a gap on Stephen McCarthy. Herman Lazarus mid-pack with Renier Hubert in there behind him. Luke Lucchesi, well, is he going to be the comeback man on this one? that Marlboro car of his, he's going to have to really go seriously hard. One, to catch the cars in front of him. Two, to get past. Another story.
Going to have to wind up that Marlboro, I nearly said McLaren, I'm thinking Formula One days, that Marlboro Lamborghini of his. Oh, there's a car in trouble. That is Lazarus. Man, Lazarus was all out of shape there. And Lucchese says, if you can't go, son, get out of my way. Then I can move up to P9. I'm going to have to rectify what I did wrong. Here's a replay here. Nice slow motion replay of the opening lap. Everybody going through. That is at the start, yes, to start the opening lap. That is Leonardo Baccari. Lovely slow motion shot of the drivers all one in there behind each other. That's the final corner. That is that hairpin that takes you on to the main straight, and that's a replay of the start of the 45-minute, and that is a replay of lots of cars that's involved in that chaotic thing that was started off there by Luke Lucchese.
He went in just a little bit too hard. This is from Jan Engelbrecht's point of view as he comes down towards the brake markers. There he is. That's the black with the lines. Oh, he just gets tagged from behind. And that was probably Peter Hubert, I think, that maybe went into him there. Let's just have a look at that. Was it Hubert? Unfortunately, just in too hard, taking 3 cars out. A separate incident that created that second one with Jan Engelbrecht being tagged in there. Then just a little bit after that is Andre Steenkamp was the next one that got tagged with this. Let's see how he was affected by it. Yeah, he was touched from behind. It was Baccari that went into the back of him. Johannes van der Merwe and Suisse Hubert also involved with that one as well. So slightly different camera shots of the same incident, but you see how it affects all the different people. So a little bit after that, Johan Engelbrecht also finding himself in a difficult situation. The guys just went piling in there, Frankie. It was not going to work from there on out.
Well, Gavin and myself were having a chat before the production got underway, and I said, watch out, halfway through lap number 1, these guys are going to mow into each other. That's Raymond Duggan that was involved in that situation. So there was at least 5, 6, maybe even 7 car driver combinations that was involved in that one. And from there, Luke Lucchese is going to have to make one serious comeback. We have a look at the replay here of Lucchese stepping it out of shape once again. Lucas trying very hard. He was in that top 10, and that's just a replay of the guys that just tried to get themselves sorted out after that issue that they had out there on the opening lap.
So that was the second time that he actually spun it around on the same spot. So Luke Lucchese trying very hard to get going as quick as possible. This is by your favorite spot, Frankie, by the fountain. Just not enough space. That was Baccari that was on the outside line, and him and the Oreo car making a bit of contact there. I think the other one is Raymond Duggan. Yep, Raymond Duggan is the second of the 2 vehicles. That's the 71 car that was involved in that incident. A little bit further down in the pack, there's a lot of incidents that have happened. Was this one, and that was Leonardo Baccari that had a bit of a tight situation, car alongside him, and not being able to turn in, just running it a little bit deep. Peter van der Spey.
I think he was just forced deep there, to be honest.
Yeah, there was just nowhere to go. Peter van der Spey coming down towards this tight section of circuit and just getting tapped from behind. And there was just so many incidents. Johannes van der Merwe got himself involved with the incident as well. I won't show you all of the incidents, but we'll show you a good number of them. And then that's the same spot that Luke Lucchese went off. So definitely getting on the power there too quick and too hard does not work. Graham Stephen, Frankie, in the 12 car.
Yeah, also having problems out there, Graham Stephen. That can only be in the hairpin. Yeah, he clipped the inside wall of the hairpin. That's the final corner, and then just got plowed into over there. So, and he was in that top half of the field. So Robbie Teens, that was also in that top half, in that top 4 or 5, getting it wrong in the hairpin.
Oh, he unsighted. Unsighted.
He hit Graham Stephen. He never knew that Graham Stephen was over there. So this all happening in the first couple of laps of this one. And my Lazarus coming through there in the Porsche. And he's been chased there by one of the Audis into the fountain corner, and he runs it wide, and the Audi goes through, and that brings Lucchese onto his back bumper. So lots of replays we've just seen there, and we are now on lap 8. We're back live once again with the race leader Johan Fourie, who's 11.8 seconds ahead of Graham Stephen in that second position. But even with all the spinning and getting it wrong, Luke Lucchese is just out of the top 5, Gaza. He sits there in P6.
So we're back to season 1 and season 2. Who's leading the race?
Johan Fourie. Well, he's the season 1 winner. Our season 2 winner, Francois Hubert, is not out there this evening. So let's have look see. This will be a perfect opportunity for Johan to get a lovely, lovely start to race 1 season 3. But he knows it will be difficult because Francois Hubert will be in there in the future races. Graham Stephen is there. Willem Botha will be in there hopefully in the next one. And obviously he's got Luke Lucchese that's busy fighting his way back. So Robbie Teings, man, is he my driver of the day so far? We've got a long, long way to go. Remember, there's still pit stops. Robbie is 13 seconds behind Johan Fourie, sitting there in that third position.
Oh, there's a couple of tight battles that's running here. Let's have a look at those intervals and see where the action is. Luke Lucchese on the move. Let's have a look at Luke Lucchese. Yeah, closing up. He was down to around about 12th or 13th position, back up to 6th on a road circuit. That's some awesome driving.
Well, Lucchese is sitting there right on the back of Andre Steenkamp. He needs to get through. Remember, there are still pit stops. Steenkamp is right there with Mike Verrier. The A-Call 24/7 car is right in there. So you see Mike Verrier, Andre Steenkamp, and on board with Luke Lucchese. That sits there in that 5th place. That's P4, 5, and 6. That's racing underneath that bridge as Verrier goes and opens the door there for McCarthy, or should I say for Steenkamp, and that is just brought Lucchese right on the back bumper of Steenkamp.
Catching is one thing when you start going up against the top 5 to get past them on a road circuit like this. Not easy whatsoever. It's probably going to go for the braking maneuver now. Oh, they're going to give him enough space. Yep, he gets enough space. Luke Lucchese making up one more position. Up to the top 5. Will Mike be as kind? Well, Mike hasn't been in the top 4-5 position for a long, long time. I think he'll hold on to that for as long as he possibly can.
Well, let's have a look, see. Will that McLaren outdo that Lamborghini? No, it doesn't. As Luke Lucchese powers through into P4 and just runs away from the dock himself. And here comes Steenkamp. Steenkamp through on Verrier as well. Woo, it's tight out there on this Long Beach circuit.
You say here comes Steenkamp? Yeah. I think there goes Steenkamp. He looked like he came in very, very hot. Oh, yep, he was in there very, very hard, and there's no ways you're going to stop from there. And sticks it nose into the wall. Leonardo Beccari also had a little bit of an incident. Comes out of the pits. Does he go across the pit line? No, there's a car coming through from behind. Well, playing very, very safe is Leonardo Beccari to get back out on circuit again and making sure that he doesn't cause problems for anybody else. Back to the front end of the field, and it's our man, Johan Fourie.
That sits out there in P1, but it's not going to be that easy. Graham Stephen will be on the move. Hey, Uncle Robbie Teings sitting there in that 3rd position. Robbie out there in that McLaren. He's just in there behind Stephen. Here comes Luke Lucchese. Luke Lucchese's got the back marker that's there ahead of him, and then behind him is the Doc, Mike Verrier. He is 2.8 seconds. Is Mike behind Luke Lucchese? As you have a look at Luke, then you've got the back marker there, and then behind the back marker you've got Mike Verrier. Luke Lucchese is only 1.9 seconds behind Robbie Teings. And trust me, the way Luke Lucchese is busy making a comeback, it wouldn't put it past Luke to find himself in that 3rd place pretty soon. Lucchese is now 1.6 seconds behind Robbie Teings. Here you see Teings go, and right behind Robbie Teings is fourth place man Luke Lucchese.
Well, there you can see Wise working his way through. The only man in the 18s, 1 minute 18.444. That's even quicker than Johan Ferry in the 1 minute 19. 1 minute 19, 1 minute 20. Graham Stephen and Robbie Teams. They're going to come under pressure from Luke Lucchese in the not too distant future. A little bit further back, Renier Hubert got himself into a battle as well.
Right, so here we go. Renier Hubert sitting out there in the Audi. That's the Audi, and he's right in there behind the Porsche of Lazarus. He's 6/10 of a second there behind 10th place man Herman Lazarus. So the Porsche has been chased down here by the Audi as they make their way into that left-hander using all of the road and a touch more. Remember, and Renier Hubert getting it all wrong there in that Audi, but he stays right there, a 5/10 of a second behind 10th place man Herman Lazarus.
Fourth overall out on circuit and moving up the leaderboard. Look at this. It's Luke Lucchese. He's on the back of the comeback kid, Robbie Teens. Will Robbie give it away like Mike did? Well, it doesn't look like he's going to fight for it. I got a funny feeling, Frankie, that they kind of realize Luke's blindingly quick. You're only going to hold him for 1 or 2 or 3 corners. All you're going to do is slow yourself down and allow the next person behind you to get closer. Now, what is the gap between Luke Lucchese and Graham Stephen? 5.4 and counting.
Yeah, well, as you say, there's no way that Robbie was going to keep Luke behind him in any case. He was going to overtake him somewhere, so just open the gap, let him get through, and let him go after Fourie and Stephen, because at this point in time, it's going to be game on. You got your one free, Graham Stephen and Luke Lucchese, first, second, and third. It's not going to get any hotter than that. Watching those 3 hot shots, Andre Steenkamp was closing in there on Mike Verrier as we have a look at a replay here of Johannes van der Merwe, also known as JJ van der Merwe, getting the Lamborghini out of shape and spinning it around and making contact with the wall on the inside.
I think Andre Steenkamp might have actually lost a bit of ground now. He was closing in there very quickly. Now, that is the previous incident that there was between them. And then it looks like Eugene Manouk, that was in mid-pack earlier on, has had a bit of an off. Let's see what happened to him. Hard on the brakes, hard on the brakes, and makes a bit of contact with the retaining wall.
Yeah, that's the same place that Steenkamp made contact with that wall early on. But Andre Steenkamp is on a mission once again. Steenkamp is 6/10 of a second behind McCarthy. So it's McCarthy that's keeping Steenkamp behind. Meantime, Renier Hubert that dropped that wall very hard early on, and he's still chasing down Herman Lazarus, and he's only 3/10 of a second. Make that 2/10 of a second there behind Lazarus. So the Audi is all over the back of the Porsche as they head down this longy straight and into that right-hander. Renier Hubert looking at that back end of the Lazarus Porsche. Look at Luke Lucchese, a 117.9, the fastest man out there in P3, Luke Lucchese.
Very, very quick. Well, he was the fastest qualifier alongside Johan Ferry, and looks like that wasn't just a one-off quick lap. That looks like it's what he's actually capable of putting together again and again and again. Renier Hubert behind Herman Lazarus. Herman had quite a session on Sunday. They were pretty quick, but they were involved in numerous different incidents, and didn't really get the result he would have liked out of that 6 hour. All pumped up now, finds himself rounding out the top 10, but with Renier Hubert inside of a second behind him is one thing. Catching somebody, I say again, is one thing. Getting past is something else.
There's a lovely fight there for P6 between Stephen McCarthy and Andre Steenkamp, and once again Andre Steenkamp is all over the back of McCarthy. So here they come down towards us. It is the Porsche versus the Ferrari. Into that right-hander, the Ferrari holding off the Porsche. It's Italian engineering versus German engineering as they go into that left right-hander. And McCarthy's got his hands full. He's got his hands full. That's the pit entrance you saw there on the right-hand side. That's the home straight. that they're racing down. Then he's 5/10 of a second behind him as they race down towards turn 1.
Yeah, very, very close they are. Andre Steenkamp, is he going to make a move down to turn number 1? No, he's not close. Ooh, that car started snaking, heavily under braking. So Andre Steenkamp pushing very hard, wants to get himself into that top echelon. I see Renier Bay is still all over the back of Herman Lazarus, 0.7 of a second off that one. Johan Ferry still leading out from Graham Stephen. But Luke Lucchesi, remember there was quite a big gap. Well, that's all that's left of it. Luke Lucchesi has gone to fetch Graham Stephen at the front of the pack.
Lucchesi now only 1.9 seconds behind Graham Stevens. So that Marlboro Lamborghini of Luke Lucchesi is on a roll. As you see the Graham Stephen McLaren just there ahead of him. They've got a back mark in front of them. That's JJ van der Merwe as Lucchesi hones in there onto the back bumper there of Graham Stevens. So we have a replay at that JJ van der Merwe incident in that on that Lamborghini of his, and he outbrakes himself and goes straight on.
Comes to a blinding halt, sticks it in reverse gear with looking in the mirrors. I'm sure he would have a telemetry on his dash to be able to see exactly where that was. Let's go back to the front end of the field. Johan Ferry, 13.7 seconds that he's already taken out of Graham Stephen. Graham Stephen, well, he will be okay with that second position, but his problem is called third position, and the biggest problem he's got is called Luke Lucchesi.
Well, my money's on Luke stealing that position away from him. As you see, Graham Stephen flashing lights there at the back marker. That's at JJ van der Merwe saying, come on, Johannes, get out of my way. I've got this rocket ship in there behind me, and my McLaren's trying to keep this Lamborghini behind me, and here comes Lucchesi. 4/10 of a second, he made contact. He says, I'm here, rubbing his racing, boy. He says to Graham Stephen, get a move on, because I've got to catch and try and get past Johan Ferry, who's almost 14 seconds down the road from the two of us.
Pushing as hard as what he possibly can to try and hold on to that position. But if Luke Lucchesi has gone to fetch you 6.5 seconds up the road, believe you me, he's going to apply lots and lots of pressure. Look at that lovely Marlboro sign writing, just clipping the curbstones as he comes through there and looking very strong. 17 laps, 21 minutes. Probably going to find that. The pressure! Can you believe it? Pressure on Graham Stephen.
Well,
wow.
I tell you what, that's exactly what Lucchesi wanted. So Graham Stephen has dropped down into that third position. He'll be a bit miffed with that, but not too bad. Now watch Lucchesi go. He's 14 seconds behind Johan Ferry. He's going to just drop the hammer and power that Marlboro McLaren and try and chase down, not McLaren, Lamborghini, sorry, and try and chase down the Monster Energy Lamborghini of race leader Johan Ferry.
14 seconds is the difference between them. Johan Ferry is going to start picking up traffic in the not too distant future as well. So remember that number, 14 seconds, as we have a look at, once again, Andre Steenkamp on Stephen McCarthy.
Yeah, that's a great one out there, and that's that fight for the top half a dozen, the fight there for P6 between McCarthy and Steenkamp, and the Porsche all over the back of the Ferrari with Stephen McCarthy trying to keep Steenkamp behind him. And now this is exactly what the Dr. Mike Virio wants. Oh, the Porsche was out of shape, out of line. It was snaking all over the place, and that has allowed McCarthy to get away from him ever so slightly. But Andre Steenkamp will bring that Porsche back into play again and go after the Ferrari of McCarthy.
Well, not far behind them. There comes the next man through, Sandro Bakari. In behind Sandro Bakari is Peter Hubert, and then same shot, Renier Hubert. He's worked his way up. He's into the top 10 already. Herman Lazarus with Peter van der Spey. Peter having been in numerous incidents for all on that opening lap. Has found himself a long way down. 1 minute 18 by Swayze Hubert. A little bit further down the pack is Swayze Hubert, but he's taking that Oreo car around the track pretty quickly.
Yeah, I remember he was involved in that with that Lamborghini in that smash up in the opening lap. He was also one of the victims in that. That's why he finds himself all the way down in that 13th position.
Problems.
This is probably a replay of an overtaking maneuver. Yes, it is. That is Lucchese putting a lap there on Van der Merwe and then hammering into the wall at exactly the same place that Steenkamp went into the wall earlier on with a Porsche.
That's going to cost him pretty dearly. How far is Luke Lucchese off now? 20 seconds in total off Johan Fourie. Can he recover from that? Graham Stephen back up into that second position. So Graham Stephen under pressure, making an error. Luke Lucchese under pressure, making an error. Nothing much between them. But once again, Luke Lucchese closing up 0.6 off the tail end of that man that's directly in front of him on track and on the leaderboard. Luke Lucchese one-on-one with Graham Stephen, while Johan Fourie goes off into the sunset.
Well, Lucchese must just calm it down. It's all he needs to do now. He must get past Graham Stephen if he can, which I'm sure he will, and then secure that second place, and then keep a cool head, and then try and chase Fourie down. He's going too hard, too reckless, and you're not going to catch Johan Fourie that way, that's for sure. Johan is almost 20 seconds now ahead of Lucchese because Lucchese made that mistake. He's back there in that second position, and he needs to just keep a cool head now if he wants to go after Fourie. And Fourie will just keep on saying, make those mistakes, boy. The more you make those mistakes, the more I take this monster Lamborghini and disappear further and further down the road.
Oh, he's looking very, very good, I must say. Johan Fourie, as always, pretty much on some. Starting off Season 3 the way he started off Season 2, blindingly quick. 19.4 seconds further back in the Marlboro car. Luke Lucchese, somebody must tell him there's actually a curbstone there. You're supposed to go around that. Straight over the top he goes. Well, showing Graham Stephen a clean set of wheels. 1.5 seconds he's taken out of Graham Stephen already. Robbie Teams, one of his best races for a long, long time. The comeback kid finds himself in 4th position and also having a very good run out there. Another 7 seconds further back inside of the top 5. 8 call 24/7. It's Dr. Mike.
Well, 50% fuel. We've done 26 minutes. Any time from now onwards, they're going to have to go into the pits for their one and only, presumably, routine pit stop. So let's have a look and see when these guys are going to start making their pit stops.
Well, that's another thing, Frankie, that was also mentioned on the group. Be careful of the pit entry, not the exit. The exit is fine. We've seen cars coming out there as long as you don't cut across the pit line at all. Also, Andre Steenkamp forgetting that there's a curbstone there. As we said earlier on, curbstones not that high whatsoever. But the pit entry, like that Long Beach last corner, very, very tight.
Yeah, as you come out that hairpin, on the left-hand side of your picture, you'll see there's a hole in the wall there. That is actually the pit entrance. So you've got to be very careful if you go into that pit lane without hitting the retaining wall there. You're going to do yourself a lot of damage. Now let's have a look and see as Peter van der Spy is all over the back there of Herman Lazarus. There's 3-4 tenths of a second between the two of them, and that is the fight out there for that final top 10 position.
Well, a very, very keen run from Peter van der Spy. They had, well, he was in a winning team on Sunday, and you'll still have that winning feeling in the 6 hour that we had on Sunday, finding himself now in that 11th position in there behind Herman Lazarus. The setups that they had on Sunday, he had the edge on Herman. Well, with these setups on this road course, nothing much between the two of them. It looks like Graham Stevens probably into the pit lane. Let's have a look. Yep, Graham Stevens, the first of the big hitters to go into the pit lane. You'll probably find that he was coming up behind some serious traffic and decided to rather not take a chance and get held up in the traffic, dive into the pits. Robbie Teens has gone past. Mike Verrier has gone past already. Andre Steenkamp has also decided to come into the pits. As we see Sandra Bakari, he's decided to go straight through. It's going to be Steenkamp. It's going to be dropping down the positions now as well as he makes his one and only pit stop. Rene Hubert, Swayze Hubert, all of them diving into the pits. So what does Johan Fourie do? Let's keep an eye on him.
Well, it's going to have to make a move pretty soon. I said any time from 26 minutes onwards, and I was quite right. So they're all busy making their way into the pit lane. Yuan Furi, no, he does not pit. Furi keeps on going. He's going to have to make a pit sometime. This is a replay on Yuan Furi. Did he make a slight mistake there in that final hairpin? No, he keeps on going. So no issues there for Yuan Furi. Almost 30 minutes into this 45-minute race. When is Furi going to make a pit? He's going to have to do it sometime. That Lambo is a very thirsty motor car. He's going to have to dive into pit lane sooner or later. But he wants to put up some decent gaps between himself and the rest of the guys before he makes his way into the pit entrance.
Let's have a look at the time in the pit lane. 54 seconds, 51, 56, 52. So varying amounts of fuel that has gone into the cars. The ones that you see there from Graham Stephen down, that's the cars that have been into the pits. Everybody that's above that, where there is no time, that's the people that have not yet been into the pit lane.
Right, so if we can pick up which of the guys have pitted and which has not pitted, that is Yuan Furi. As dives into the pits. Yuan Furi makes a move into the pits now. Will Luke Lucchesi come through? Lucchesi is 15 seconds behind him. Lucchesi will eat and gobble up that 15 seconds as Lucchesi dives into the pits. Well, the top two hot shots are into the pits. Remember that Graham Stephen has already made his pit and he sits down in 9th position. There's a lot of others ahead of him that have to go into the pits. There you can see
Robbie's
the times.
Yeah, Robbie does. Robbie dives in as well. All top three are in.
Well, this is going to play into the hands of Graham Stephen because he'll just systematically climb up the leaderboard as everybody else goes into the pits. That means the Doc has been promoted into that third position. But when is he going to go into the pits?
Goes to the front.
Well, he will go to the front for now. Yes, the other guys are in there. We'll have a look-see. Well, that's the first time that he leads, and here comes Yuan Furi. Yuan Furi making his way out, and he was in the pits from pit entry to pit exit. 51.3 seconds for him and 48.8 seconds for Luke Lucchesi.
Peter van der Spey, having not gone into the pits, up into that fourth position, comes around turn number 1, finds himself just behind Luke Lucchesi, but that without having made the pit stop. So Mike Verrier and Peter van der Spey, you see they've got no times alongside them for the period of time that they've been in the pits. Colin Plitt, the only 3 that have not been in yet. Mike Verrier probably will drop back into 5th. Peter van der Spey, I would tend to think, will probably drop back into 5th or 6th position once they come out after their pit stops.
Well, it's going to be interesting. The Doc is going to have to go into the pits. This is the final corner. The final corner. He's slowing it down. It looks like he's going to go into the pits. Yes, you could see by the line that Mike was taking that he was going to eventually make his way into pit lane. That puts Yuan Furi back into P1, and that then will promote Luke Lucchesi back up into that 2nd position.
Probably find that Peter van der Spey is going to go into the pits now. Can he go any further? Nope, he's got to dive into the pits, although he's made it 32 minutes, so that's not bad. So he'll be fueled slightly less than what the rest of the guys are being fueled. Andre Steenkamp still in that battle a little bit further down the field, running out the 8th, 9th and 10th positions. Andre Steenkamp having a look at the tail end there of Peter Hubert, everybody having done their pit stops.
Yeah, everybody's made their compulsory routine pit stop. As Peter Hubert is only 0.8 of a second ahead there of Andre Steenkamp as they head down towards us and go into that long right-hander, and he wants to come through. Steenkamp wants to come through there on Hubert. He's a second behind him, and making his way out to the pits now is Captain Pete.
So Robbie Teams finds himself in a pretty hectic fight. He's in that 4th position. Can he hold on to the back of Graham Stephen? Let's have a look at the last times that they have done. Is it a possibility? Robbie Teams are 152.675, and that's because it was his pit lap. So Robbie Teams actually looking like he might be able to put a pressure on the back of Graham Stephen. That will be an interesting one to see the comeback kid going one-on-one with one of our top racers, Graham Stephen.
Well, I've already got a driver of the day in my head. I'm not going to say anything yet. We've still got about nearly 35 minutes that is done. So I'll tell you this for nothing. We keep an eye here on a replay on Space Hubert in the Oro Lamborghini, and gets it out of shape and hammers the wall and almost takes Renier Hubert out.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of people climb on the gas there just a little bit too hard. I think it's a first or second gear exit that you have coming out there. Looking at the latest lap times, a 18.9 and a 18.0. Luke Lucchesi a little bit quicker than what Johan Ferry is. The gap between the two of them, 9.7 seconds. Remember that number, 35 minutes down of the full duration of the race. Can Luke Lucchesi work from 14th position up to Johan Ferry? Second question, if he gets to Johan, how do you get past?
Well, that's going to be difficult. Well, they're the only two that did 118s. And look at Raymond Duggan. He's done a personal best in P13 of a 119.708. And the last lap for Ferry was a 119 dead, and Lucchesi was a 118.1. My word, is almost a second faster than Johan Ferry. I'll tell you what, if Johan doesn't know it now, sooner or later when he looks in his mirror, he'll see that red and white Marlboro Lamborghini, and when he looks in there, you'll see into the eyes of Luke Lucchesi.
I almost think Luke is pushing it a little bit too hard. There is no space between himself and the wall on numerous occasions. Johan Ferry not under the pressure that Luke Lucchesi is riding under at this stage of the fight. He's taken the better part of 23 seconds out of Graham Stephen, keeping in mind Graham's incident that he had, and then also the slightly longer pit stop. So he's got no pressure from behind whatsoever. But on the edge like this, can he run 10, 11, 12 laps in the time that he has allocated left to him without having any mistakes? It doesn't help you make up 9/10 on a lap, and then 2-3 laps down the line you lose a second and a half again. I think Johan Ferry is going to pace himself decently. 119.367, 118.8.
Well, I don't know. I think if you look at the gap between the two of them, and you look at the time left, I think Johan has done it right. Lucchesi is going to have to go extra stupidly fast to try and get past Johan. I think with the mistakes that Lucchesi made, I believe that Johan has got this one in the bag. If Johan makes no mistakes, I reckon he's got this one done and dusted. But trust me, believe me, I'll tell you this for nothing. Lucchesi won't give up. But another couple of guys that won't give up here is Andre Steenkamp. And he is 7/10 of a second ahead there of behind Peter Hubert that sits there ahead of him. There goes Hubert, and across the line comes the Porsche of Steenkamp, and he's only 6/10 of a second behind Hubert. So that fight is on there for that 7th position.
So how do we describe the pace of Luke Lucchesi? Extra stupidly fast.
It is extra stupidly fast, and I mean that with all respect when I say that. He is very, very quick out there, that's for sure.
8.4 seconds off the master up front, and Johan Ferry puts in a 119.2. Let's see what Luke Lucchesi is going to do behind that. Here he comes through now. A 119.2, a 118.8, 1.1 seconds. It's game on. It's game on. Luke Lucchesi, man on the move. He's taken 25 seconds out of one of the best out there, Graham Stephen. And Graham Stephen still can't shake this man behind him. It's the comeback kid. It's Robbie Teens. He's going to get himself around the outside of Herman Lazarus as quick as he possibly can, and try and hold on just almost 3 seconds off Graham Stephen. Brilliant run by the comeback kid.
Man, I love these Wednesday evening league races. It's absolutely brilliant. As Robbie Teens, and he's only 3.3 seconds behind Graham Stevens. So if he gets a move on, then Robbie might just take that Lamborghini up into that 3rd position. Wouldn't that be something if Rob could finish there in P3? However, Mike Verrier in a top 5. Lovely, lovely stuff there by Mike in that call 24/7 McLaren sitting there in that 5th position. Man, he will not be unhappy with the top 5 in P5, that's for sure. But my word, Robbie Teens, let's say nothing. There's there's about just under, well, let's say around about 11 minutes still left in this one.
Down to 6.5, Luke Lucchese to Johan Ferry, going a little bit further back. Sandro Bakari having a pretty decent run out there, 2.9 behind Mike Verrier. Sandro Bakari doing a lot of backup work in the background to help Mike, and Andre Steenkamp's run into a problem.
Well, it's a replay. I said 11 minutes, I forgot it's 45 minutes left, so there is only about 5-6 minutes left in that one, and that's the problem that he had. It's called the tire barrier on the left hand side of the right hander.
It was there before you arrived.
Yeah, so
it's
now,
there after you left,
and it's going to stay there. We've got 5 minutes left. I do apologize, I'm so used to this being a 50-minute, but this is a 45 minutes. So with 5 minutes left on the clock and 5.7 seconds, can Luke close up on Johan a second a lap? I don't know. He's doing damn well at this point in time. He's brought it down from 9 to 8 all the way to 5.5.
but there's traffic.
Lucchese is on a move as we see Fourie go through. Then we've got 2 back markers, and there comes Luke Lucchese.
Well, pretty much already in the same shot, 5.5. Let's see if that gap goes up when he gets to the back marker. And, well, looks like he's going to dive it up on the inside. That hasn't cost him hardly anything, but look how close Lucchese runs to the wall. He must have 6 TV screens around him that he can see the right front, the left front, the right back, the left back, because he's the only man that runs so close to the wall. I think he's brushed the wall a couple of times, and you see Frankie there pushing it as hard as what he does. And to me, that is going to be the final factor, whether it's going to be him or Johan, is the fact that Johan is not riding 11 tenths. I'm sitting on 10 tenths. Look, heavy on the gas.
Well, I'll tell you what, if Lucchese never had that a second incident, he would have been all over the back of Fourie by now. But you know what? You've got to be in it to win it. Johan is in it to win it. He's never made a mistake. He has not put a foot wrong or a wheel out of line. So we have a look at Eugene Manouk, a replayer of Manouk. And he's just moving out the way there to allow Johan Fourie through, and almost mows into the wall on his right-hand side.
At his own cost, he was being very gentlemanly there to Johan Fourie. 5.7 is the difference between them, a 1:19.657, a 1:19.8. That's the time that's been lost by Luke Lucchese as he was on his way through the traffic. I think Johan Fourie is safe for a season open winner. But then again, everything can change in the blink of an eye on a narrow road circuit like this.
Into that final corner, here comes Graham Stephen. He's 29, almost 30 seconds behind Lucchese. He'll be happy with the 3rd position in the opening race of season 3. There's nothing wrong with the 3rd position for Graham Stephen. But could that be maybe a 4th position for Graham Stephen, because here comes Robbie Teens. I think Graham's done enough to finish in that 3rd place, but trust me, believe me, I'll tell you this, Robbie Teens is not going to give up to try and get that 3rd position away there from Graham Stephen.
I think Robbie Teens had one of his best races for a long time. The comeback kid was a kind of quiet second half of season number 2. But he's definitely getting it going now and doing a brilliant job out there. There is no doubt about it. Let's have a look a little bit further back. It's Dr. Mike Verrier that rounds out the top 5.
Well, 43 minutes done. You've got 1 minute and 45 seconds left in this one. Colin Plitt, this is a replay of Colin Plitt coming through into that right-hander and climbing the curbstones and losing the tail end and making contact there with the wall just before the bridge.
How many others have been over that curbstone and have got away with it? It must purely be throttle control that's made it possible for them to get over that curbstone and not throw the tail end away. Well, we've got a couple of seconds to go in this one. 43 minutes, 44 seconds. It's Mike Verrier. Just outside the top 10 is Sandro Bakari. Good drive, good result for Sandro. If he can stay there, Peter Hubert not that far behind him, just 3 seconds further back. 5 seconds back to Andre Steenkamp. He's had a bit of a tumultuous ride today, but very, very hard on the gas on numerous occasions and making it count where he needed to be. Here's Andre Steenkamp, Peter van der Spey right in there behind him, and rounding out the top 10, Steve McCarthy on the last lap probably is this man, Johan Fourie.
Yeah, there is 35 seconds left for Johan Fourie. He's going to have to circulate the island one more time, I think. Yes. Well, yeah, there's pit exit, so he's going to have to go around one more time. So this will be the last lap for race leader Johan Fourie. He wants to clear this issue in front of him, that's for sure. And that's the fight there between Renier Hubert and ahead of him Stephen McCarthy. And he wants to get past this lot. Now this is what Johan doesn't need. It doesn't need on the final lap with 5.5 seconds between himself and Lucchesi to be involved in a fight with McCarthy and Hubert.
Well, it was opened up nice and neatly for him, so that sorted that problem out. He's still got 5.1 seconds between himself and Luke Lucchesi from 14th position coming back to second. Only the likes of Johan Fourie have been able to do that in the past. Luke Lucchesi now proving that he can do exactly the same as well.
Right, as they come into the final stages of the last lap. Remember, 45 minutes and 30 seconds are done. This is the last corner. This is the last corner. This is the run to the checkered flag. 5 seconds. Fourie flashes the light, and victory goes to Johan Fourie, winning the season opener. And across the line now, my word, Luke Lucchesi 4.7 seconds behind him and 32 seconds behind Luke Lucchesi. Heading towards a checkered flag is Graham Stephen.
Well, Graham Stephen right here on the last, coming through very strong. Looks like Peter van der Spey has been involved in an incident, and we will show you that one just now. Let's go across the line with Graham Stephen as he comes up a top 3. Well, I think he'll be pretty chuffed with that one. A top 3 is good for a season opener. I think he would have fancied himself for a win. 4 seconds further back, Robbie Teings. Dr. Mike, 15 seconds further back. Robbie Teings, probably driver of the day. Apart from Luke Lucchesi, it's done the amazing comeback session from 14th to 2nd.
Well done to Dr. Mike, finishing in the top 5 in 5th position. And Peter Hubert finishes just 2.8 seconds behind Mike Verrier. So where is Andre Steenkamp? There he is, heading towards us. And he is in there just behind Peter van der Spey. That's van der Spey you see going into the right-hander. And right behind him is the Porsche of Andre Steenkamp. Only 1.3 seconds between them. But I think van der Spey will secure that 7th position. And Steenkamp will probably finish there in that 8th place.
Wow. Season number 3, race number 1, Johan Fourie, previous season winner, winning out there by 4.7 seconds from Luke Lucchesi. They did the proverbial comeback session from 14th back to 2nd. Graham Stephen, always there and thereabouts, finds himself 37 seconds outside of where he would have liked to have been. He did have 2 errors that we could see, that we could notice, that did cost him a fair amount of time. Very close to the type of pace that you would need to be alongside the likes of Johan. And look, Robbie Teings, brilliant drive. Nice to have Robbie back there in the game again. Mike Verrier rounding out the top 5 inside of a minute behind the likes of Johan Fourie.
Well, driver of the day, if there was one, I said earlier on, I got his name in my head. It's got to go to Robbie Teings, that's for sure. The comeback trophy, if there was one, would go to Luke Lucchesi. And Mike Verrier needs a mention as well, because he did extremely well to finish there in that 5th position.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Just outside of the top 5, Peter Hubert, there's the first of the Hubert, surprisingly outside of the top 5. Then Peter van der Spey, he had off on the very last lap, and I think that cost him that 6th position, which he was ahead of Peter Hubert, if I've got my facts correct. Andre Steenkamp pushing very hard, Frankie, but just a couple of errors that crept in on the road circuit that kept him out of that top 7.
It's amazing what a win does for you, because Van der Spey was in the team with Graham Stephen on Sunday and they won the Masters category, and that's boosted Peter's confidence right up there, because not only in the top 10, he finishes well up in P7.
Sandra Bakari getting back to his original form that he had in season number 1, finds himself inside of the top 10. Surprisingly, Stephen McCarthy, one of the top 3 for season 1 and season 2, slightly off the pace recently, and he rounds out the top 10 and just off 1 lap off from the leaders.
Well, the top 10 finishing out there on the lead lap. Now, before we say our goodbyes, imagine next week Wednesday, Gav. You've got Johan Fourie, Luke Lucchesi, Graham Stephen. Okay, you add to that the likes still of Willem Botha that didn't make it today, and then you're going to have a season of note plus Francois Hubert. Woo! Hopefully Francois will be in next Wednesday. I'm looking forward to next week Wednesday.
Yep, I think that's going to be a brilliant one. So season 3, round number 1, Johan Fourie from Luke Lucchesi, Graham Stephen from myself, Gary Fleming, Second Gear Productions, Second Gear Talk Show, Frankie Innes, the voice of West Province Motorsport, West Province Commentators Association. Thank you very much for joining us, and look forward to seeing you guys next week, Wednesday, same time. Good day, everybody.